From the Workplace Ninja Summit in Baden. Smart talks, sharp insights, and stories worth sharing. This is the Workplace Ninja Podcast.
So, welcome at the Workplace Ninja Summit here in Baden. We are hosting the interviews. My name is Frans Houdendorp, co-hosted by
Peter Dalmans.
So, second time today?
Today, yeah.
I think
it's
so.
It's an easy day today for me.
It's you have a quiet day, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I was able to create my schedule myself. So.
Okay, very good. We have a lot of interesting conversations on this table. We have also the community sessions. There's one coming up after this session. This is I think it's the last recording that we are doing today.
For today, yeah.
So we can skip it quite early this afternoon. That's good. We have some interesting topics to discuss because last year we had David also on the recording with some OSD Cloud. So let's see. What has it been involved? David, welcome. Who you are?
I am glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
And let's start with some small introduction from you and your new colleague, because Chris is also here. Let's start with a short intro.
So everyone, David Segura. I'm a community. Well, there I am on the camera. So yeah. I've been heavily involved with the community for OSD. I just recently joined Recast Software, and fantastic 2 weeks so far. Half of it has been here in Switzerland. So I'm joined here today by Chris.
Yeah, and I'm Chris Muster. I'm Chief Architect at Recast Software. I've been working on right-click tools in some way for the last decade. Yeah. And we're super excited to have David. I got to say, we're probably not going to have you in Switzerland for every other week, but yeah.
Oh, next year it will be good.
Next year, yeah.
So, David, you joined Recast. It's 2 weeks ago, so still fresh from the press, so to say. What does that mean for you as a person?
As a person, I think probably the best thing is. I'm able to keep releasing things for the community. So far, today there's a new OSD Cloud I got to release at the summit. I've got a session today on another community tool called OSD Workspace. And Recast has always been a fan of community tools. And, surprisingly enough, they sponsored my blog 4 years ago. So there's a lot of history there between us. And glad to be a part of the team now. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, the foundation of Recast is community, right? The right-click 100%. Tools is one of the kickstarters, I believe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, right-click tools. The right-click tools go back a long time, back to the SMS days. And Recast really got involved in the 2014, 2015 timeframe, and really leaned into trying to extend the community tools in a big way. And now we're used by more than 70,000 monthly active users across the globe. And we're really proud of that, and we're really glad to have David joining because it reinforces our commitment to the community.
Yeah, he has different active users, but we will come to that.
Is that different?
Oh yeah. Let's if we talk about it. Your active usage of OSD Cloud, that's enormous, right?
Yeah, that's confidential. Oh, honestly, I really don't know how many active users. I do know the trend right now is almost 2 million devices are reimaged using OSD Cloud per year. It's an incredible number, and it's grown and grown. It used to be a few hundred a month, but now it's an incredible amount. The new OSD Cloud takes that in consideration, and that's really the reason there was a new one created, because there would have been breaking changes, and that is probably the most important thing with that many people using the tool to not cause any impacts.
I think we had 2 years ago a Workplace Ninja's release fixing a breaking change.
Yeah. So no, that's not happening this year.
Exactly.
No, but there is a new release, and we will talk about OSD Cloud in a few seconds, and also on OSD Workspace, what we talked about earlier off the record. But what's the importance? We touched it already a little bit, but Chris? What do you think is the most important thing that you got OSD Cloud within the Recast community tools?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to really lean into the community tools, and we're going to keep OSD Cloud for free. We're going to keep working and iterating on all of our community feature sets going forward. And in the next year, I think you'll see Recast Software really redouble our commitment to community.
Yeah, really, really good. It gives you the freedom, David, to enhance the product. And what you were mentioning before is that there needs to be some documentation. That was a little bit hard to realize in the past few years.
Yes.
What does that mean for you?
So for the past 3 years, I've been with HP, and definitely not in a role that was OSD related. So it's almost like maintaining OSD Cloud was always a second job I'd had to do in the evenings, which is unfortunately family time, and so it's tough to try and balance the two. That work-life balance, that home life. So hopefully this gives me more time to do that documentation. In fact, before the summit, I've been able to record several videos on the new OSD Cloud, which all the demos are done, and hopefully we'll be publishing some videos to show how to use all the new features within the next few weeks.
Where can I find the videos? Because I looked at one or two of them. They are really interesting. They are on your YouTube channel?
Yes, there's no audio right now because they're really more or less demos that I'm going to be presenting and talking about. So I'll just have to do an audio over, I'd say, within the next couple of weeks. I'll have something out.
And if you want to know, I will post that in the description of this video as well. So have a look at that.
Yeah, right now they're on my personal, but I would imagine we're going to put them on Recast somewhere. Recast's blog or homepage or one of their pages.
Yeah, nice. To make a little step back, OSD Cloud, what is it and how did it become what it is today?
So OSD Cloud, the OG, the original version, it's a OS deployment tool. It's completely cloud-based once you boot into the boot environment, where the OS comes from Microsoft and the driver packs come from vendors. And really it became popular as for a disaster recovery solution. CrowdStrike, I saw an incredible spike of users using it after CrowdStrike. COVID. People working at home needed to reimage devices. And so it's really been kind of like in the back, it's a toolkit item that IT admins probably have as a, break if necessary, break for emergency. But it's there, it works, and you don't need any infrastructure, and I think that's what kind of makes it a success.
But if you look at it maybe a little bit too simplified, it's an PowerShell module.
It's just
right?
PowerShell, yes.
And it's pretty easy to use for end users without what you said, without any infrastructure. But it's
and there were some obstacles to overcome. Like PowerShell doesn't naturally work. PowerShell Gallery doesn't natively work in WinPE, and so that was something I had to solve a few years ago. And then switching to WinRE, Windows Recovery Environment, for wireless support. So there were some hurdles, but once those were cleared and shared with the community, I think people are also doing their own solutions as well, based on some of the hard work that I've put in, and big shout to Gary Block, who has contributed over the years, and Michael Escamilla has fantastically contributed this year. He's been the newest collaborator on OSD Cloud. And he's with Patch My PC.
Yeah, so it's not. It's still a community-driven tool, right? So a lot of people are able to contribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's next for OSD Cloud in your opinion?
Documentation.
Yeah.
I think so. What we didn't talk about was the last time I was here. OSD Cloud has been relatively stable, but I think coming to Workplace Ninja and talking to how it's used here by the MSPs, all of that feedback came back, and this year it's an entirely new build. It's a new module. It's really designed for MSPs to be able to customize the flow, add their own functions if they want. And I got to touch on that in my session yesterday and the session today on building the boot image. MSPs are going to have a huge takeaway to be able to build boot images for their customers exactly the way they want to.
And that's where OSD Workspace is coming.
Exactly, and it's called OSD Workspace because we're going to be building boot images in VS Code, Visual Studio Code, which you don't think of that as, can I build a boot image in VS Code?
Apparently.
And yeah, apparently you can. And so it's going to be neat to show that off. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to present that at MMS MOA and Workplace Ninja UK. And finally, to complete the trio, present it here. And then probably release it to the public with documentation shortly thereafter.
Cool. Really cool.
I love this, but also from an MSP perspective, using OSD Cloud, that was sometimes quite hard because of the different stuff that you have, and that needs to be solved. So I really need to look into this. I really hope that it solves the problems that I have.
It will. It is a complete workflow now. It's all step-based. So if there's some steps that you don't like, you want to change, you're able to customize it with your own functions, and basically add that into a JSON configuration file. The GUI can be customized, the OSs that are in the drop-down, and I got to demo how easy it was. I think it took me about 60 seconds to create a new build of OSD Cloud in the module that only allowed imaging the latest OS, 24H2, which 25H2 will drop soon. And a lot of things on the back end have happened. For example, the driver packs. Those used to be a manual process. I'd have to build a catalog from Microsoft Surface devices and Dell and HP and Lenovo. And now that runs on a GitHub action, updated every 6 hours. That was released at MMS MOA earlier this year. And so I haven't heard any complaints about driver pack URLs not being valid anymore.
I never knew that you did that manually every time.
It was. And so
for
I
every
decided
model, for every OS, and
Yeah, and now I honestly haven't touched it since March.
That's cool.
And it just runs on its own.
Nice. And what's the common mistake people make when starting with it? Because
expecting the documentation to be up to date.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Yeah, okay. But for example, if OSD Cloud, I had some conversations with MSPs as well. Does it solve the total amount of deployments that you need to do?
So
sometimes
it'll drop you off an out-of-box experience. It's essentially how it was written. We're just going to image in WinPE and then restart, and then you're in OOBE. I think most MSPs want it to go further and install Office and install some other updates before hitting autopilot. And I think that's probably a common misconception, that it's going to do all of that for you, and it doesn't. It's really focused on the OS. I'd love to see if Recast can help me extend that into some of maybe other Recast tools. How can we, bridge that gap? I think that's what a lot of MSPs are looking for. They have that gap. How can we solve it?
And of course it is solvable. With PowerShell you can do a lot. You can install Office. You can mitigate a lot of vulnerabilities that are available out of the box on most operating systems.
And
the updates and so on, drivers.
The community has solutions.
Yeah.
Earlier today I was sitting watching Bakos session on extending it in OBE with custom scripts. Yep. He was up here sharing, but there's a lot of other MSPs that don't share, that probably have it solved. Love to see if they could reach out and maybe we can combine those efforts.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything, Chris, that you have you played with it? Is there?
I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. I've had the privilege of having David's private demo to me, and he spent an hour on it, walking me through some of it, and it's really amazing. And obviously, we had conversations, before he joined too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to start playing with it and start using it. I'm sure I'll be making many of those mistakes to start. So.
Yeah, but with that, the future is bright, because within you're building that on your own with some contributors. Now you have the ability to use other developers as well, more or less. Will that probably give also now you have the OSD workspace. OSD Cloud is running quite smooth, so to say. So there is time available, or the possibility is there to extend with new features as well.
Yeah, and there were some new features that were added. For example, we don't need driver packs anymore in this new release, the way we're handling that. So that's something that's, I'm really proud about.
Yep.
Because now we can literally image any device as long as your boot image supports it. ARM64, that's now in the new release of OSD Cloud. It wasn't part of the original OSD Cloud, so now we've got ARM64 support, and that's huge.
So I can enroll my laptop.
So I was waiting for that. Yeah.
And not only that, it's because we have the problem with ARM for example, with enrollment, but also on the app side of things. So it's good that we have that from a deployment side to use that. I have another question. With OSD Cloud, do you have an example of where it's significantly simplified the deployment for somewhat larger organization? Because it's a community tool, some larger organizations have challenges with that. But are there any examples that you have that companies have used this kind of deployment?
So I do have a real-world example. Before I was with HP, I worked for Baker Hughes as the OSD manager there, and OSD Cloud was something I worked on while I was there, and so we were able to use that with our hardware depot, where they would reimage devices, and so that gave me a lot of hands-on. There's another tool that I've released called Autopilot OOBE. Which simplified autopilot enrollment in the out-of-box experience, and that was specifically for techs that they could use and not have to follow instructions. Everything was just kind of laid out ready for them. And so those were things that came out of my real-world experience that I wanted to share with the community. With HP, I wasn't involved in anything OSD, so I'm probably the last person you should talk to about modern enrollment now, which is...
I can jump into that because I'm using it with a lot of customers, and I really love the integration with HP, that you can integrate Sure Recover with OSD Cloud, that you boot from a WinRE image which you store on a blob or somewhere else, which is reachable for the device, and then you just press, I believe, F11, and then it pulls down the image, boots into the environment, and you get everything sorted.
But
so
Sure
easy.
Recover is not going to be supported on every device.
No. I really love the HP experience.
Yes,
For Dell, there's something else. Most likely you can integrate iPixie or something like that.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I probably didn't mention with the addition of that new driver support is we can now image consumer devices, because vendors don't put driver packs for those out. And I think that's a big win for everyone. Finally, the last part about the driver update is those drivers that are in use in WinPE to actually image the device. The change I did yesterday morning is to actually mount WinRE during deployment and put those drivers in WinRE. So the scenarios where your disk isn't recognized because your controller doesn't have drivers, or you don't have network connectivity because you don't have drivers in WinRE, they're gone now with the new OSD Cloud.
Cool.
I love that. Any tips for people that want to start with OSD Cloud in the right way?
Be loud. You know, I'm going to be honest, for the number of people who use OSD Cloud, there should be more of a community voice because, you know, me or the collaborators who are working on OSD Cloud can really only work on what we hear from people. So definitely reaching out. Recast has been kind enough to give me an inbox, an email.
Maybe create a user voice in the Recast ecosystem.
We do have an ideas at recastsoftware.com.
Yeah.
I imagine there will be an info there.
I think there will be a
OSD
great
Cloud
feedback,
at recastsoftware.com.
Yeah, in the short term, the OSD Cloud at recastsoftware.com, and you know, maybe long term, that ideas portal. And the ideas is where we collect all Recast software ideas. So
or GitHub issues, you know, if you prefer.
Yep.
So it's short that you have joined Recast, so it's not easy to talk on what's on everything what's coming, because the talks are going on in the next few weeks, months. So probably for everyone that using OSD Cloud, I keep an eye on what's coming up and what Recast will change or will add into OSD Cloud in that. So I'm really interested in the new story that is coming out in the next few weeks, months or years. So thanks for having
me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Absolutely. I really love the things that are going on with OSD Cloud, and congrats to Dave for being part.
Let's see where we are next year.
I'm coming back.
So
yeah, if that's possible. So last year we had the recording on this topic. So let's continue that for next year and see what topics are important at that moment. So. Thank you for joining, and if you're watching, thank you for listening today. Next session will be on a community stage. That is the Control App sponsor session, so have an eye on that. And definitely we will be back tomorrow with other interviews and recordings as well.
Last day already.
It's the last day already. Yeah. So thank you, and with that I shall until then. Thank you.
Thanks for joining the Workplace Ninja podcast. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep sharpening your ninja skills. Until next time.